Bailey Hero coming at you with another podcast. What the puck? Let me just start by saying there's no sacred cows. There's no friends in hockey. I mean, you can play hockey for years and you can walk into the locker room. Hey, what's up, man? You're awesome. What's this guy's name again? I mean, I'm guilty of that. So this tale is probably, if I'm 39, this has to be almost like 28 years old, 27 years old, and it's not hard to talk about, but it's something I want to talk about because growing up, I had friends that played hockey. I had friends that went to school with me and all that bullshit. So for the namesake, we'll just call him John. So I go to school and we take the bus together and we're cool and we went to Northeastern games together and all that bullshit and everything's going great, everything's going fine. And we were on teams for a couple of years and I just remember it was preteen, right before I turned. I think it was like at least 11 or 12. And the coach, his name was Joe. He was a Harvard professor, and I won't go too deep into it, but this guy fucking hated goalies. He was a fucking asshole. His son, I think, who played semi-pro. I forget where. He was the assistant coach. So it was Joe and Joe Jr. So John and I are best friends. We're cool. We go to school. Yeah. We trade hockey cards. We talk Star Wars. We're all buddy, all that bullshit, right? Okay, fine, great. So I had this teacher. Her name was Mrs. Chase. Fucking bitch, right? She didn't like us. This was elementary school, by the way. This was right before we jumped into, um, the next realm of our life, and that's middle school. Which middle school is the worst? It's honestly the worst fucking part of growing up. So, anyways, really long story short, Mrs. Chase, and there was a big three. So it was Mike, me, and John. So how middle school went was you would have teams A, B, C. So Mike went to A, John went to B, and I went to C. And her purpose, Mrs. Chase, our teacher, was like, no, I want them to find new friends and break up the band, basically. For whatever reason, I don't know why. I mean, I know people that have been friends since elementary school to this day. It's one of those things where the lady was a fucking absolute cunt. This is a teacher. So, anyways, this is an elementary teacher. So now we're in middle school, and you know, Mike does his thing, John does his thing, I do my thing. However, I still play hockey with John. Okay, whatever, fine. It's kind of embarrassment to talk about. A little bit. It was a tough year. One of our best players, his name was Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. He didn't want to play hockey no more. He was into skateboarding. He went to the skateboarding life. His parents bought him a nice skateboard, and he was doing ollies and shit on the streets. Okay, so we have this other kid. So Mark was a forward, and he was a bigger kid. He was bigger than us, and he was good. He was our best player. So then we have pretty much our best defenseman. His name was Kyle. He was, tanking, going into the deep end in life, and his mom was like, "No, I'm not paying for your hockey no more. You're on punishment. Get better grades. You can play hockey." So there goes our best team, man. So we absolutely, and this is preteen. Like those kids are teenagers. We're preteen, John and I, and we're still like gotta go to bed by 8:30. Gotta go to school, do our homework, all that bullshit. These kids were like a little bit advanced. So really long story short, and I mean it's kind of sad to talk about it, but um, I look at it as kind of a teacher moment. I look back, I kind of laugh, but John and I are in different teams in middle school. Okay, whatever. Our we still both show up to hockey, even though we're not really buddy in school because we're on different teams and we don't have classes together. I think we had one class together, but he was with these people. I was with these people, so we go ahead and we just we drift apart, sadly. And I mean, it is what it is. That's what happens, right? I never really thought about it, but I knew deep down like John didn't like me, and that chemistry that we had was kind of gone. It's okay. It's fine. Whatever. Because we still play hockey together. And we played this one game. It was, I think, a Sunday night at Cleveland Circle. And I think it was Brighton. I think Cleveland Circle's Brighton. And that we're Melrose Youth Hockey. We play towns. We play the Medford. We play Malden. We play Danvers. We play Reading, North Reading, whatever. Fine. I believe we were playing against a team that was like maybe a select team. I think they were the BC Eagles. They might have been BC Eagles. I honestly don't remember. And I can't, for the most part, tell you it was the BC Eagles, but I'm telling you right now, it wasn't a youth team. These players definitely were good players. Structure, hockey came first. They had a couple of kids that were probably old. Now, we're probably, 10, 11, 12. These kids were probably like 14, 15, right? However, these kids didn't really rack up the score, wanted to beat our ass, but they were good hockey players. So we go and play them. And we got our asses kicked. Oh, yeah, they beat our ass, like, up and down. They were a good hockey team. And I remember, I think it was after the first period, we were like down like 3-0. It was like 3-1. I remember skating by the bench. And I saw our coach. And he was giving our water, squirting it into kids' mouths and patting them on. This was the other team. This is our coach. And he was patting up, and like, hey, you guys are good hockey players. But he didn't give any, like, oh, good game out there, Sam. Good game out there, John. Good game out there, Mike. You guys are playing well. None of that. He was praising the other team. And I took offense to that. Even at that young age, I was like, dude, like, ride or die. You're a fucking coach. What the fuck? Which, this was the 90s. This was pre 9/11. This was all, growing up. This wasn't, let's put it this way. This coach, if he was coaching kids nowadays, there would be, Fox News would be all over him. He would be so much in trouble. He wouldn't be a coach, let's put it that way. So anyways, long story short, I hate to just fucking shoot around it, and I'm not making excuses, but that's what had happened. It was like, you like this other team because they're more of a team. It's like, we have our two best players out because one wants to fucking skate on a skateboard. This kid doesn't want to pay attention to school, and we got a bunch of fucking assholes on our team. And there was a lot of private school kids that they don't give a shit. They just played it. It was weekend warrior shit. So I remember, it's funny because I haven't been there in years, but the Cleveland Circle rink. So you walk in, it's the lobby, and then you walk to another area, and it's this big fucking viewing port. It's a window into the rink, and it was so fucking cold. This is like the middle of fucking February. It's fucking freezing. And I remember my parents were drinking their fucking Dunkin' Donuts hot coffee. And they were like, we're not going into the rink because it's too fucking cold. I remember that because I remember looking behind me and seeing my mother and father, and they had their dunk. It was all the parents from our team. And I remember just being like, wow, is it really that cold? I mean, I'm on the ice. I'm sweating my balls off, whatever. So in the stands was a few of the parents of the other team, maybe like 5 or 6, whatever, 5. So this fucking, we're losing. I mean, it's a losing effort, and I saw that they had like 2 guys that were kind of big. Definitely, not at the age. Definitely had a growth spurt. Definitely was not playing to the full potential, but still wanted to play and impress. So this one kid, he was a taller kid, skinny but taller kid. He comes down and hits me, make the save, drops down. I put my glove on it, and they're fucking hacking at me. And then we're looking at the ref. I'm like, call something. The ref is like, what the fuck do you want me to do? So what happened was, I have the puck tied up. This kid, who was obviously bigger and stronger than me, takes the stick and pretty much shovels it into my glove. I had the puck covered the whole time, but my body went into the net as I'm holding it. Oh yeah, it and they called it a fucking good goal. I was fucking furious. And this fucking kid, tall kid, skinny, had the white cage, probably a fucking Yofa helmet, and he's like celebrating, and he's got his buddies with him. I know these kids are definitely more skilled than us, so I just fucking, nobody defended me. I go up to them. I push my way through these kids through the left face-off circle, and I fucking cross-checked the kid in the face. His helmet went up, and you can see his chin, and I fucking just started hitting him. And the ref pulls me off, and the kid, he was bigger than me, stronger than me, but you can see he was kind of, maybe with Ginger. Sorry, Ginger's got souls. He was definitely a redhead, Irish white, but you can see the tears running down his face, like, what did I do? And the ref pulled me up, and I could hear the fucking team's, like, family, whatever, fucking yelling, fucking, what the fuck? Okay, whatever, fine. So, long story short, we ended up losing the fucking game. I don't know, like 5-3, 7-3, 6-3. I don't even know what the fuck's what. We got a couple of goals. That goalie sucked, but they were definitely a more skilled team than us. So I go into the locker room. Parents weren't allowed into the locker room. I'm in the locker room taking my pads off. I'm pissed off. Throw my helmet down. Throw my gloves down. Take my brown chest protector off. I'm just like, whatever. I'm doing the pads, right? And the coach, his name was Joe, he sits down, probably like right here. And I'm right here. And he's like, that's not hockey. That's embarrassing. And he puts his head down. He never said it to me directly. However, John's father, who was the helicopter parent, was in the room. He was always the first person. He never sat on the bench. He was always that guy that was like, I gotta be in the locker room. Now he's pulling off John's skates. He's taking off John's chest protector, pads, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And like, he basically was wiping his ass. And he sits next to Joe. And he's cleaning John's skate. And John just like, ee. John was like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but John was, if he's not on the spectrum, but he's pretty fucking close to being on the spectrum. So, I remember just being, and the locker room was kind of tiny. And there's no other parents in there except for John and Joe, the coach. And I remember John's father being like, yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. He's not a good hockey player. That's not hockey. I forget the exact words. I'm sorry, this is also over 25 years ago. But I just remember being like offended by it because I was like, dude, like, you shouldn't be saying shit. And I feel like the coach Joe was like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to fuck up. But the fact that another parent said something, so, I'm always the last to leave because I had all the goalie equipment. I stripped down and, I'm talking, whatever, fine. Long story short, really long story short. I know I keep repeating myself, but my father comes and he grabs my sticks. I'm carrying my bag out, and I'm like, John's father said things about me in the locker room, Dad. He's like, "What did he say?" And, we had a fucking gold Plymouth Caravan, and I remember putting the bag in the back, and my dad had my sticks, and he's like, "What did John's father say? What did John's father say?" And I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. Fine. Okay, fine. So as we're driving from, Cleveland Circle to Melrose, it was kind of like dead silence. And, I got my brothers in there, my mother in there, whatever, fine. So then I had told my mother, we take the showers, we get ready for bed. We got school the next day. Go right to bed. Take your shower, go right to bed. Brush your teeth, go right to bed. So I had told my mother, and my mother was like, "Oh." And then my father asked me, and I said, "Yeah, John's father was not nice to me. He said this to me, and, he criticized me." And, the funny part was, like, I understand that I put my stick and I tried to fight another player in youth hockey, but I think that's part of playing hockey. I'd rather show, some type of commitment and, hey, you know what? Don't bully me. I'm going to fuck you up versus, oh, no, it's cool. Yeah, you can push the puck into the net while I'm covering it and get away with it. Show some type of grit and toughness when you play hockey, especially being the fucking goalie in youth hockey when you're fucking 13. It's pee-wee hockey, right? Checking is allowed. So I think that's what kind of fueled my father. So I had told my father, and he was like, "What the fuck?" He goes, "I didn't see him. They must have left." I would have fucking said something to him. My father, he was a good guy, but I think he might have been a little hot-headed when it came to that stuff. But at the same time, I don't blame him. Because, you don't want to talk shit. Like, your son sucks. It's like, but you're going to talk shit about my son? Because he's actually involved in the fucking game. So, that's where, you got John, whose parents, the helicopter parents, but then it's like, we're going to talk shit about a fellow teammate. It's like, no, you're not. And my father wanted to have words with him, and I remember vividly. I think they had turned the TV off, and we had to go to bed. It's like 8:30. I remember Mom being like, "Don't say anything to John's father. Don't say anything. Just let it go." My dad was pissed. He's like, "What? You can't say that." And you know what? My dad was my biggest fan, so in a way, I'm kind of glad. But you know what? I think it would have been more drama if my dad said something, because we were still on the team. We still had a couple of games left. But it's just funny to see. So, of course, there's more to the story. So now we're in middle school. This is Melrose. Melrose Middle School, which is now, they knocked it down and whatever. Fine. I want to say, so Monday passed, Tuesday passed. I want to say it was a Wednesday before hockey practice. I take that back. It might have been the Monday. It might have been a Monday. So in the old, I can't make this shit up. I think I had snuck into the B team bathroom and, whatever, take a piss, talk to a couple girls, walk out, right? Oh, looked for girls, whatever. I'm walking out. The bell had run. I'm walking down the stairs. John and some other kid, short kid, I think his name was Matt. And as you walk down the stairs, the marble stairs, you hit the platform, and then you walk down those stairs. As I'm walking, I see John, and he had said something under his breath. And it was just myself. So John was down the stair. And there was this kid, Matt, who was a short little kid. And he had said something like, "Oh, my dad put him in his place," or "He sucks as being a goalie." So I fucking just go, "Fuck you, John." And I punch him. Legit punch him in the back of the head. And he shaved his head a lot. So he punched him in the head. And I remember like the corner when you get on that platform, if you walk down next to the stairs, he was holding his head and he's crying. He's like, it's crocodile tears, but he was turning red and he's holding his head and the kid Matt's like, oh my god, and he was just like, and I'm just looking, I'm like, yeah, that's what you get for your father talking shit about me. Never got in trouble. Never mentioned it ever again. When I went to hockey practice, he sat on the other side of the fucking bench. He never fucking acknowledged me ever after that. Now, what I did, was that nice? No. But, you know, I don't think it's nice that a grown man who's a fucking helicopter parent talking shit about another kid, you know? So, that's a true story. And after that, we were the best of friends, John and I. We traded fucking cards, Yaga cards. We were all about Star Wars. We went to fucking Northeastern games. Like, we were like the best of friends. Like, we should be buddy, and that was it. That moment, right? That was sixth grade too, and that was the end of our friendship. Seventh grade happened. Eighth grade happened. I interacted with him on ninth grade, and he was rude to me. And so, if anyone knows Melrose Shaw's, he was a cashier, and oh my god, this was Danny Briere. Danny Briere was on the Flyers, and for whatever reason, I think this was before even my wife. 06, 07? No, I'm my wife 07 of September. But anyways, I had a Flyers sweatshirt, and I just wore it just for fucking shits. Like, it was a nice sweatshirt. It fit me well. It was a Reebok. I love that sweatshirt, and it was the Flyers. It said Flyers hockey with the Flyers symbol. And I remember I went to Shaw's once. And I don't even know what I bought. And he was the cashier, and he was so fucking rude to me. He was so fucking rude to me. He saw the Flyer stuff. He didn't say, "Hey, what's up, Sam?" Nothing. He did his, he's like, I paid him, and he took the bag. It was just him, and he threw it at me, and I grabbed it. I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." That was the last time I saw that kid. No, I'm not friends with him on Facebook or any of that shit. We never reconnected. We just let it go. But that's 100% true story. And that's the sad part. It's like, there's no sacred cows. There's no friends in hockey. There's no work friends. They might be your friends. They might fucking be fake, but don't trust people. And I think that in a way, his parents kind of polluted him. But at the same time, he was the helicopter parents. And I'm grateful my parents weren't like that. And listen, my dad and my mother were so supportive of my hockey career growing up. But this kid was definitely, like, he needed his parents to hold his hand on the fucking ice. Let's put it that way. And it's kind of sad, but at the same time, I'm so glad that wasn't me. And he was kind of the politics of Melrose Youth Hockey was, he kind of could get away with certain things because, his parents and stuff. But, I don't think he's like a bad kid or anything. I don't think he never did drugs or, oxys or any of that shit. Like, he was actually pretty normal. He ended up stopping hockey. Yeah, because his sister actually was a legit hockey player, female. Yeah, like, unbelievable hockey player. Female hockey, excuse me. So, he sucked, and I think he ended up doing track or some shit. And he went his way, I went my way. And to this day, yeah, nothing to do with that kid, John. But the thing is, John, like, we were legit friends, and that's kind of where I circle back to. There's no sacred cows, there's no friendship, there's no friends in hockey. There's teammates. I can have your back on the ice. I can look out for you on the ice, but once we leave that locker room, like, dude, like, we're not friends. We're not cool. Go fuck yourself. Which is sad, but especially at that age. But that was a good life lesson I learned, and I'm glad I can share the story. I've been talking about it a little bit, and thanks for listening. I know I ramble too much, and I appreciate it, but as always, cheers.